Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
Elena moved gracefully to the sound system and selected a tango melody, filling the silent space with passionate rhythms that seemed to pulse through the air. She extended her hand toward me with an inviting smile. We exchanged glances, appreciating each other's unclothed forms in the gentle light. I'm Sean, a 55-year-old middle manager who spent over 2 decades at the same company, living a stable life. My wife Sarah and I have shared 25 wonderful years together, growing together with mutual understanding. Each morning, I find myself watching Sarah as she prepares for work, still captivated by her presence after all these years. We've always valued being faithful, finding joy in life's simple pleasures like weekend movie nights and leisurely walks together. However, our relationship faced its greatest test 3 years ago. One night, Sarah tearfully confessed something that shook me to my core. She had been briefly involved with a colleague. Initially, I was overwhelmed with rage and betrayal. A quarter-century of trust seemed to vanish in moments. During countless sleepless nights, I questioned everything about our marriage, wondering if I had somehow failed as a husband. Looking back, I realize I wasn't blameless either. Throughout my career, I'd experienced my share of temptations, particularly when younger female coworkers showed interest. My heart would skip a beat, though I never acted on these feelings. Perhaps that's what made Sarah's infidelity even more difficult to process. As days turned into weeks, I began to recognize the real courage behind her confession. She chose truth over deception, risking everything to save our marriage, a decision that must have required immense courage. Even now, thoughts of her with another man can trigger pain and anger. Yet surprisingly, these feelings are mixed with an unexpected attraction. Knowing that others still find her desirable has given me a fresh perspective on my wife. I sometimes wonder if these conflicting emotions make me unusual. The aftermath of her confession brought an unexpected transformation to our marriage. We started having more meaningful conversations, sharing our deepest feelings and desires openly. By embracing our flaws and vulnerabilities, we discovered a deeper, more mature kind of love. Our nights became more passionate than ever. While we felt a renewed sense of possession over each other, we also experienced the thrill of rediscovery. Sarah's honesty had given our relationship a fresh start, making me fall in love with every aspect of her all over again, while she showed me greater affection than before. Then one evening, Sarah dropped a bombshell. "I think we need some new energy in our life." Her words immediately put me on edge, bringing back memories of the past. Her eyes sparkled with enthusiasm as she continued, "How about we learn something together?" Despite my initial reservations, part of me was intrigued. Our routine had become predictable, same work schedule, same evening routine of TV and smartphones. Maybe we did need something to shake things up. How about learning tango? Sarah's suggestion caught me completely off guard. Me? Dancing? I hadn't stepped onto a dance floor since my high school days. "Honey, I don't think I'm dancer material. Besides, aren't we a bit old for this?" I hesitated, watching her face fall with disappointment. "Well, I'll go by myself if I have to." Her words sent a shiver down my spine, echoing past events. The thought of her taking dance lessons alone stirred up old fears about potential infidelity. "All right, let's give it a try together," I finally conceded. The way her face lit up with joy made me think that maybe I'd made the right choice after all. Finally, the day arrived for our first visit to the Tango studio. Nestled on the third floor of an unassuming building, Passion Dance Studio appeared surprisingly quiet from the outside. However, stepping through the door took us to a completely different world. Sarah took my breath away in an unexpected transformation. She wore an elegant black dress with a plunging back and sophisticated high heels, a striking departure from her usual conservative attire. "This seems rather..." Before I could finish my thought, she squeezed my arm reassuringly. "Don't worry, honey. This is standard tango attire," she explained. Indeed, she was right. The studio atmosphere was distinctly different from anything I'd experienced. Every woman wore similarly bold dresses, while the men were dressed in sleek, form-fitting attire. I struggled with my initial discomfort, particularly when I noticed other men's appreciative glances at Sarah's legs as she moved. I felt uncomfortable with their attention. The studio's atmosphere was overwhelming at first. Everywhere I looked, women of all ages wore surprisingly revealing outfits. I found myself questioning whether this was truly just a dance studio. Maybe we should reconsider this? I whispered to Sarah, but one look at her face stopped me short. Her eyes sparkled with an enthusiasm I hadn't witnessed in years. Seeing her joy, I knew I had to push past my reservations. Then we met our instructors, Elena and Marco. Elena was a stunning Latina in her early 30s, wearing a figure-hugging black dress that showcased her dancer's physique perfectly. The dress's plunging neckline and high slit were impossible to ignore, stirring feelings I hadn't experienced in quite some time. Her warm smile and graceful presence immediately drew my attention. Marco, her husband, was a charming Italian gentleman who greeted us with genuine warmth. Welcome, we're Elena and Marco, your tango instructors. Elena introduced herself with a melodious and inviting voice. When they demonstrated their first dance, I was mesmerized. Their performance was pure artistry, with Elena's movements flowing like water, both graceful and passionate. I couldn't take my eyes off their performance. Watching Elena dance so intimately with Marco sparked an unexpected twinge of jealousy. Glancing at Sarah, I noticed she seemed equally impressed by Marco's smooth movements. Ready to try? Elena approached to adjust my posture, and her delicate perfume wafted around me. My heart began racing, though I tried to convince myself it was just first-day nerves. Elena stepped closer. Her presence made me feel both comfort and unease. First time dancing? Don't worry, we'll take it nice and slow, she reassured me, her voice gentle and encouraging. I've never really danced before, I admitted, my voice shakier than intended. Elena's reassuring smile and light touch on my shoulder sent an unexpected shiver through my body. Every great dancer started as a beginner, she said warmly. Let's begin with the basic position. She positioned herself in front of me to demonstrate, but my body remained tense and uncooperative. While Sarah practiced with Marco nearby, their laughter floating through the air, I found myself completely distracted by Elena's presence, her scent, her patient guidance, her entire being. Even as my conscience whispered, "This isn't appropriate," I couldn't help being drawn to her. Then came the awkward moment. I lost my footing and stumbled forward, accidentally falling against Elena. Time stood still as my face brushed against her chest. Are you all right? Elena's voice was full of concern. I quickly straightened up, my face burning with embarrassment. I was acutely aware of the other students watching, and Sarah had paused her lesson with Marco to look our way. I'm so sorry, I managed to stammer. Elena's gentle response of, "Don't worry, it happens to everyone when they're learning," was meant to be reassuring, but I noticed her cheeks were slightly flushed too. That brief moment of contact had created an undeniable spark between us. Sarah approached us, asking, "Everything okay, honey?" I tried to maintain my composure, but my racing heart wouldn't calm down. I couldn't tell if it was from the embarrassment of falling or from that electric moment with Elena. Several weeks passed quickly since that awkward first lesson. Every night, Sarah and I would practice tango in our living room, gradually mastering the basic steps. Our initial attempts were filled with toe-stepping and uncontrollable laughter, but we eventually found our rhythm and flow. During our practice sessions, my thoughts would constantly drift to Elena. Her graceful movements, warm smile, and that enchanting scent lingered in my mind. Even as I danced with Sarah, I couldn't shake the memory of Elena's gentle touch. These thoughts filled me with guilt, yet they persisted, refusing to fade away. Sarah threw herself into learning with incredible enthusiasm. Watching her concentrate so intently reminded me of our early days together. It wasn't just nostalgia. We were actually experiencing a renewed sense of youth, both physically and emotionally. Honey, we're really getting the hang of this, Sarah whispered, resting her head on my shoulder after practice. I could feel her warm breath against my neck, sending shivers down my spine. Tango was revealing itself to be much more than just a dance. It mirrored life itself, alternating between moments of intense passion and gentle, flowing emotions. As our bodies moved as one with the music, I began to truly appreciate this dance's charm. The intimate embrace position in tango particularly fascinated me. In these moments, with our hearts beating so close together, you could feel your partner's every breath and feel their emotions. Elena's words echoed in my mind. Tango truly was a walking embrace. Each tango session pulled me deeper into an emotional maze. Dancing with Sarah rekindled the spark of our younger years, while dancing with Elena brought a thrilling sense of forbidden pleasure. These conflicting feelings only intensified tango's mysterious allure. During my drive home after each weekly lesson, I would mentally replay every step we'd learned, trying to perfect each movement in my mind. My dedication to tango extended even to my workplace. I'd practice basic steps in front of bathroom mirrors, dance with an invisible partner in quiet corners of the break room, and perfect my movements between office desks during late nights when nobody was around. Though these secret practice sessions might have seemed foolish, I couldn't help myself. I desperately wanted Elena's approval. The thought of her saying, "You've clearly been practicing," in our next lesson made my heart race like a teenager's. During our next lesson, Elena and I ventured into more advanced steps. When she approached and softly suggested, "Let's try a more intimate position today," I felt my pulse quicken. The instant my arms encircled her waist, I felt Elena's gentle curves beneath my fingertips, and our bodies moved together perfectly. As we moved through the passionate tango sequences, her body pressed against mine. Her leg gracefully intertwined with mine before sliding away, each fleeting touch sending electric shivers through my body. I struggled to maintain my professional composure. "Excellent work. You really capture the emotion," Elena praised. I offered a modest smile, knowing she was unaware that my emotional expression wasn't merely for show. As we wrapped up the lesson, Elena and Marco came over to us. "Would you like to join us for drinks at a nearby pub?" Elena's invitation caught me off guard. I glanced at Sarah, who was already enthusiastically nodding. I felt nervous about meeting them outside of class. Though I tried to convince myself this was purely social, I couldn't fully suppress my growing attraction to Elena. "That sounds wonderful," Sarah chimed in before I could respond. Marco's face lit up with a warm smile as he said, "Perfect. How about we meet at the Blue Moon pub around the corner in an hour, after we've all freshened up?" The Blue Moon turned out to be an intimate, welcoming establishment. We settled into a corner booth, and Elena and Marco took charge of ordering drinks and steering the conversation. The initial awkwardness melted away after the first round of beers. "You two are truly remarkable," Elena said, her eyes moving between Sarah and me. 25 years of marriage is incredible, and watching you learn to dance together has been absolutely beautiful." Sarah responded with a bashful smile at the heartfelt compliment. Our conversation naturally drifted to stories about married life. Sarah openly shared our past challenges and triumphs, her candor surprising me. Marco reciprocated by sharing their own experiences. That's when everything shifted. I felt a foot brush against mine under the table. Before I could dismiss it as accidental, Elena's hand found its way beneath the table and gently caressed the back of my hand. Her touch sent sparks of electricity through my entire body. I sat there, completely still. Sarah was right beside me, engrossed in conversation with Marco. Elena's touch was like sweet forbidden fruit. I wanted to resist, yet found myself unable to pull away. These conflicting emotions left me in turmoil. Then Marco lowered his voice. "We have something we'd like to suggest." There was an unmistakable undertone in his words. Elena nestled against Marco's shoulder, wearing a knowing smile. Sarah, Sean, we feel a special connection with both of you. Sometimes, we engage in more intimate relationships with select couples. Marco's words left me stunned. Was he really suggesting what I thought? Sarah's reaction caught me completely off guard. Are you suggesting swinging? She asked straightforwardly. My hand trembled as I reached for my beer. Elena smiled warmly and said, Yes, exactly. We have some experience in this area, always with complete respect and discretion. You're truly the most special couple we've encountered. Sarah stayed calm. She turned to me and said softly, Honey, if you're comfortable with it, I'm open to the idea. In that moment, I felt like I was seeing a completely different side of my wife, one I'd never known existed. Elena's hand remained intertwined with mine under the table. Suddenly, all her subtle glances and touches made perfect sense. My mind was in chaos, torn between moral obligations and raw desire. Well, my voice quivered slightly. Perhaps we should continue this discussion somewhere more private, maybe at our place. Everyone nodded in agreement. Despite my outward hesitation, my heart was racing with anticipation. Back at our place, Elena and Marco moved with practiced ease, clearly comfortable in this intimate setting. Sarah excused herself to fetch some wine while Marco selected some music, filling our living room with the gentle notes of smooth jazz. Let's start by getting comfortable, Elena suggested warmly. We'll move at whatever pace feels right, and remember, you can pause or stop anytime. Her voice carried a reassuring confidence that spoke of experience. My breath caught in my throat as I watched Marco take Sarah's hand, leading her towards the bedroom. Elena's gentle touch brought me back to the present as she guided me to another room. The moment the door clicked shut, Elena drew me into a passionate kiss, her lips incredibly soft and inviting. I've been drawn to you from day one, she confessed in a hushed voice. Your dedication, the way you cherish Sarah, everything about you captivates me. My pulse quickened at her words. Knowing Sarah was with Marco sent conflicting waves of jealousy and exhilaration through me. Elena seemed to sense my inner turmoil, offering a gentle smile. Don't overthink it, she soothed. We're all here by choice. Think of it as exploring a deeper connection with each other. As her fingers worked at my shirt buttons, I found my hands settling naturally on her waist. Just like during our tango lessons, our bodies fell into perfect synchronization. But this was different. No choreography, no set steps. We just followed our instincts. Elena's dress gracefully slipped to the floor, pooling around her feet. In that breathtaking moment, I found myself completely speechless. Her body was naturally beautiful, far surpassing anything I had imagined in my private thoughts. The perfect blend of youthful firmness and elegant grace radiated from every curve. Her skin glowed softly, while her tango-toned muscles created mesmerizing lines as she moved. Despite my age showing in the mirror each morning, my heart was pounding with the intensity of my college years. I love how you're looking at me, Elena murmured, her voice a perfect mix of innocent playfulness and mature sensuality. As I gazed at her stunning silhouette, the line between fantasy and reality began to blur, making me wonder if I was living in a dream. Elena delicately removed my shirt and began trailing kisses across my chest. Each touch of her lips sent tingles through my body, awakening sensations I hadn't experienced in years. Long dormant passions stirred within me, making my heart race with renewed vigor. Her caresses were entirely different from Sarah's familiar touch. Elena's movements were bold yet graceful, alternating between gentle tenderness and passionate intensity, much like our tango. She guided me through this intimate dance, each touch more intoxicating than the last. Your body is incredible, Elena whispered, her warm breath tickling my ear and sending tremors down my spine. Though I was in my mid-50s, I felt decades younger, as if her touch had awakened a dormant vitality within me. I couldn't remember the last time I'd experienced such raw, intense emotions coursing through my body. Her hands traced downward with deliberate slowness, each touch sending shivers through my body. I drew in a deep, shaky breath as rational thought evaporated completely, leaving only pure instinct in its wake. Like an inexperienced young man discovering passion for the first time, every nerve ending in my body tingled with heightened sensitivity to her touch. Elena positioned herself above me, her movements perfectly matching the tango rhythms we had practiced together. Each motion was a delicate balance of gentleness and intensity. My breath caught in my throat with every synchronized sway of her hips to the music's hypnotic beat. My hands found their place at her waist, just as they had during our countless dance practices. But unlike our tango lessons, this intimate dance had no barriers between us. No fabric, no space, nothing but the electric sensation of bare skin against skin, creating a rhythm of passion. "You're incredible," Elena whispered breathlessly into my ear, her voice quivering with emotion. As I tenderly caressed her back, we moved together in harmony, our breaths mingling as if we had merged into a single being. The pleasure intensified gradually, building like a slow crescendo. My thoughts drifted to Sarah and Marco in the other room, imagining them sharing a similar intimate moment. Rather than jealousy, this knowledge sent waves of unexpected excitement through me, creating an intoxicating blend of guilty pleasure that consumed my entire being. Elena's rhythm quickened, her movements becoming more urgent. Her breathing turned ragged and shallow, matching my own growing intensity as we both approached the peak of ecstasy. Finally, we reached our climax in perfect unison. Elena gently collapsed onto my chest, both of us taking deep breaths as we lay there, our hearts beating in synchronization. The intensity of the moment hadn't faded. If anything, feeling her soft skin against mine only intensified my desire. "Let me take the lead this time," I whispered softly into her ear, my voice filled with renewed passion. Elena's eyes lit up with excitement. With the grace of an experienced dancer, I held her waist and smoothly moved us, executing the movement as naturally as one of our practiced tango steps. "I want to experience every part of you," I breathed, my voice trembling with anticipation. Elena responded with a warm, inviting smile and a gentle nod. Her willing consent removed any doubts I had. We emerged from the bedroom and made our way to the living room, where moonlight shone through the windows, creating a peaceful atmosphere in the quiet house. Elena moved gracefully to the sound system and selected a tango melody, filling the silent space with passionate rhythms that seemed to pulse through the air. She extended her hand toward me with an inviting smile. We exchanged glances, appreciating each other's unclothed forms in the gentle light. Surprisingly, there wasn't a hint of self-consciousness between us. Everything felt perfectly natural, as if we'd been dancing together like this forever. My desire for her remained intense. As the music enveloped us, we assumed the classic tango position. When we touched, electricity seemed to flow between us. I could feel her soft skin against my chest as we began to move in slow, deliberate steps. Through the window, light spilled from another room, and I caught glimpses of Sarah and Marco, also dancing in their natural state. Their silhouettes against the window created an artistic scene, like a masterpiece in motion. Watching my wife dance with another man stirred something unexpected within me. Not jealousy, but rather an intoxicating sense of excitement. Elena and I began to dance with increasing intensity, our movements becoming more sensual with each step. The music's rhythm synchronized perfectly with our heartbeats, making us feel deeply connected. My hands held her waist more firmly as our dance transformed into something more intense.